What if the tragedy of Titanic's crash was not about the ship itself? What if the story of Titanic was a visual prophecy of how the Creator is trying to tell us the ending of humanity? That's why we need to see the story of Titanic properly within of the prism of climate change. Titanic, similar to the Earth in space, was sailing in the sea, and nobody on the board would think about any issues coming from nature. Suddenly, Titanic hit the iceberg. Yes, Earth could be hit with natural disasters too, like droughts, hurricanes, or earthquakes. Thus, issues coming from nature on Titanic were never a big deal too. And when the side of the ship was cracked by the iceberg and water was coming into the engine room, nobody was specifically concerned. But a young fellow, Leo, got scared seeing water coming into the ship rapidly. He ran to the captain to report the disaster.
"No worries, young fellow," Leo said, "Captain. I'm the best captain in the world, and I've seen many natural disasters in the past. Everything will be beautiful."
Though Titanic was a democratically driven vessel, and Captain brought the issue to his sailors. 3% of the sailors suggested that nothing needs to be done, because storms are cyclical, as climate in general, and ship will sail to the promised land eventually. But 97% of sailors were raising the alarm, stating that ship was sailing out of control and created that disaster because of the engines running on fossil fuels, because so much CO2 gas in the air. These 97% of the sailors demanded changes to green energy to be able to sail to the promised land. The idea was great, but how to implement that transition from fossil fuels to green energy? Luckily, there was a visionary standing by.
"I can do the job," says he. "I am a visionary." And he did.
And it was a moment as things started going well with green energy and the ship started sailing again. But Leo, the young fellow, went to the engine room and saw that the water is still coming up, and soon it would flood the first level where poor passengers are. He ran back to the captain to warn him.
"No worries, everything is under control."
But poor people, who got affected most by the disaster, came to protest against fossil fuels, evil corporations, and the captain, who let them into this crisis. They demanded to be rescued by providing them top-deck luxury quarters on Titanic. Poor people were represented by a young girl and someone old and smart man.
Were they Greta Thunberg and Bernie Sanders?
"I do not know," answered Captain, "but it could be them."
At that moment, poor people and struggling workers got rescued and became safe from the disaster by transferred to the upper deck and taking quarters from rich and powerful people. They were full of joy and celebration. But what to do for rich and powerful people? Another visionary offered to fly to the moon as a safe and a new living place. This idea got #1 visionary angry, who knew better about green energy and taking MMA classes. He taught a masterclass lesson to that other visionary by properly applying Will Smith haymaker from his right and pointing that the right thing to escape is to occupy Mars. Scared for his life, Leo, the young fellow, saw that the water is taking over Titanic, and he is about to be drowned. His last thoughts were in confusion because he thought that the sailors made a right decision by stopping the use of the fossil fuels and transitioning to clean energy. He thought that poor people got saved because they took over the upper deck quarters from rich and powerful. He thought that idea to occupy Mars was great and very useful. However, the reality was that Titanic, its passengers, and him are going down to cold and dark depth of the ocean. Did the Creator give us a clue in his prophecy about the death of Titanic and about a solution of what we must do about global warming on Earth? Thus, knowing now the real story of Titanic, we should be able to answer this question. What people on Titanic did not do to save themselves.